Hello, this is Chinese Pod bringing you a lesson in spoken Mandarin coming all the way from Shanghai, China. My name is Ken Carroll.
Hello, I'm Jenny.
And today we have a newbie lesson.
That's right.
Would you tell us about the lesson, please, Jenny?
Oh, we're talking about feelings.
Feelings.
Feeling upset, sad.
Upset or sad. What a topic.
Yeah.
But we've got to treat it.
Yes.
How do you say the word sad or upset in Chinese?
难过,难过.
难过. Now, before we listen, actually, I think it might be an idea to look at this expression because it's very interesting.
Yes.
So tell us about the two parts of that word, please.
The first part, 难, second tone, means difficult.
Difficult.
Or hard.
难,
Yes.
second tone, okay?
And the second character, 过, fourth tone, means to get through.
To pass through or to
Yes.
go past something. So it means difficult, something that's difficult to go through.
Yes,
The equivalent perhaps of a hard time.
that's right.
Kind of similar in some ways.
Yep.
Yeah, a hard time. So there you go. It means you're upset or depressed or sad about something. It could be one of many things. So why don't we listen to the dialogue 3 times and after that we'll come back and we'll break it down.
Dialogue, first time.
你怎么了？
我很难过，
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Second time.
你怎么了？
我很难过，
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Third time.
你怎么了？
我很难过，
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Translation time.
你怎么了？
What's the matter with you?
你怎么了？
Oh, what's wrong?
你怎么了？我很难过，
I'm really upset.
我很难过，
I'm having a hard time.
我很难过。真的吗？为什么？
Really? Why?
真的吗？为什么？
Really? Why?
真的吗？为什么？对不起，我不能说。
I'm sorry, but I can't say.
对不起，我不能说。
I'm sorry, I can't say why.
对不起，我不能说。
Okay, well, this is how you indicate sadness and how you deal with it in Chinese, particularly taciturn individual here. But anyway, let's take it again from the top. Now, the first phrase is when you ask somebody, if you're okay, is everything okay? And that is,
你怎么了？你怎么了？
你怎么了? Now, of course, the pronoun for you is
你
third tone.
That's right.
And then the question like, what's up or what's wrong or what's the matter? Is anything wrong? All of those things is
怎么了？怎么了？
怎么了? Now, 怎么了 is one of those phrases that I don't think you should over-explain.
No.
It's just remember. It means
Yes, and
what's
it
wrong.
means a range of things that you just described.
Indeed, yeah. So again, could we hear it one more time? The full phrase, please, Jenny.
你怎么了？你怎么了？
All right. Now, in response, your friend is kind of troubled, sad, having a hard time, unhappy. Again, another kind of broad phrase here. Let's hear it, please.
我很难过，我很难过。
Now, the pronoun for me or I or myself is
我
and the word very is
很
okay. And then we got to our key word for today, which is the word for sadness, and that is
难过，难过。
great. So when you put them all together, I'm very sad, you say.
我很难过，我很难过。
I hope that's not the case with you, Jenny, today.
Oh, but I did it very convincing.
You did. Very convincing. But no, I can tell from your face you're not terribly 难过.
no.
Good. That's good. Now, of course, when your friend is looking 难过, you want to know why. So you might ask,
真的吗？为什么？真的吗？为什么？
Now, 真的吗 is just a great way to say, really? Is that true? Is that really the case?
Yeah.
So it can be used again in really. It's the equivalent of saying really in English. So let's hear it again, please, Jenny.
真的吗？真的吗？
Now, you could use that in any context. You know, with your friends, oh, I got a new job, you could say.
真的吗？
Or I'm going to travel to the States, you could say.
真的吗？
Or just about any situation, the equivalent of English. All right, now, and then you want to know, well, why?
为什么？为什么？
The expression 为什么 means why. It's exactly the same. And it doesn't require a lot of grammatical explanation or parsing here. But the tones for 为什么, could you tell us about those, please?
Yeah. Fourth, second, and neutral. Put them together. 为什么？为什么？
为什么? There you go. And it means why. Now, I'm sorry.
对不起，对不起。
Again, keeping it simple. 对不起. It just means sorry. I apologize. I'm really sorry about that. Pretty much can be used the same way as the expression I'm sorry in English. So one more time, please.
对不起，对不起。
And the last phrase we have is, well, I can't say.
我不能说，我不能说。
Now, that is actually a very literal translation in the sense there.
That's true.
So the verb to speak or to say is,
说，说。
and the pronoun for I, of course, is,
我
and now we have this phrase, and it is,
不能，不能。
now the verb 能 means
To be
to
able
be able
to.
to have the ability or the capability in a sense, okay? And so the negative form is,
不能，不能。
great. So let's just contrast it with I can say,
我能说，我能说。
and I cannot say.
我不能说，我不能说。
So in this case, it means in the same way in English. I cannot say means, it doesn't mean necessarily, it could be physically if you couldn't say it, but it could also be, there's a reason
Or
why.
sentimental.
Yeah, for other reasons. Okay, so that's our dialogue. Let's listen to that 3 more times.
Dialogue first time.
你怎么了？
我很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Second time.
你怎么了？
我很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Third time.
你怎么了？
我很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Okay, so there you go. You will sometimes, your pals might look, from time to time, might look 难过. And so you have a great question to ask them, of course, which is,
为什么？为什么？
That's it. Well, we've got to go now. 为什么 we have to go because
We're running out of time.
running out of time, and we've got to prepare more lessons for you tomorrow. In the meantime, do not forget to go to ChinesePod.com and explore the language, the text, the transcripts, the exercises, and all the other things that will help you to integrate or consolidate or whichever way you want to term it. In the meantime, we'll be back again tomorrow with another lesson. But right now, from Shanghai, China, it's time for us to say
再见.
Turning that cave Mandarin into rave Mandarin. ChinesePod.com. Mandarin on your terms.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China. Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi,
I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello there and welcome once again to Chinese Pod, and today we're going to push on with providing you with some really practical, very useful input. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to look at a very simple dialogue. We're going to talk about to be able to do things. Can you do this? Can you do that? We're going to look at some languages. We're going to talk about communication and so on. And we'll get to those dialogues in just a moment. But let me just remind you that you could review Lesson 5 and indeed Lesson 4 and Lesson 3 if you have a couple of minutes. So let's just briefly listen to the last lesson. 朱小姐你好。
你好，
你昨天去哪里？
我昨天去学校。
你昨天开心吗？
不，我昨天很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
朱小姐你好。
你好，
你昨天去哪里？
我昨天去学校。
你昨天开心吗？
不，我昨天很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
朱小姐你好。
你好，
你昨天去哪里？
我昨天去学校。
你昨天开心吗？
不，我昨天很难过。
真的吗？为什么？
对不起，我不能说。
Great. Okay, now we're going to push on with today's dialogue. Two people are talking about communication and speaking in English and Chinese and so on. Now, as we listen to this dialogue, don't worry about the meaning. Don't worry about comprehending it. Just listen for the sounds, and after that, we'll break it down for you and we'll make it comprehensible for you. So let's start our dialogue lesson 6. So take it away, please, Jenny.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Again.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Okay, the third time.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Good. Now, let's take a look at that dialogue in some more detail. Now, today we'll look at the vocabulary first. So let's go through some of the key words we had here today. So, Jenny, what was our first new word of the day?
It was 会。
Hui. Okay. Now, hui means can, to be able to do something. Now, could you give us some examples of how to use hui, Jenny?
Certainly. 你会吗？
Can you?
你会吗？
Can you?
你会吗？
Can you?
他会吗？
Can he?
他会吗？
Can he?
他会吗？
Can he?
你会不会？
Now, this is another way to say can you.
你会不会？
Can you?
你会不会？
Can you?
他会不会？
Can he?
他会不会？
Can he?
他会不会？
Can he? Now, let me just remind you, there's two ways you can ask that question. 你会吗? Or you can say, 你会不会? Okay, next one, please, Jenny.
说
To speak.
说
To speak.
说
To speak.
说英语
Speak English.
说英语
Speak English.
说英语，
Speak English.
说法语，
Speak French.
说法语，
Speak French.
说法语。
Speak French. Next word.
普通，
Okay, now 普通 means normal or standard. It can be also used in a sense of ordinary, but it doesn't have any negative connotations as in English term ordinary. So 普通 means standard or normal.
普通，
Standard.
普通。
Standard.
Next one, we go to 话，
Okay, 话 means speech.
话，
Speech.
话。
Speech.
Yeah, and we're gonna put what we've just learned together into 普通话。
Now, 普通话 literally means normal speech, but this is used in China to describe Mandarin. So, 普通话 means Mandarin.
普通话，
Mandarin.
普通话。
Mandarin.
Yeah, and let's move to another one.
Okay, very important phrase, the next one, right?
Yes, in colloquial speech, you've got to know this one by
Okay.
heart.
Okay.
一点，
A little.
一点，
A little.
一点，
A little. Now, when you double it, it's also very common, and you say
一点点，
a little bit.
一点点，
A little bit.
一点点。
A little bit. Now, I think that's often one of the first phrases that foreigners learn, Jenny, in Chinese, right? 一点点,
yeah.
right?
It's especially useful over dinner table
Mm-hmm.
or the Chinese forced drinking culture, I'm
Uh-huh.
sure. Have you had enough share of that?
Oh yeah. Well, when you're having dinner, they may say, "Come on, have more drinks, and you can say,
一点点.
"Yeah, 一点点 means just a little bit."
Yeah,
一
that-
点点.
I think that would certainly impress your Chinese counterparts. And they
Good.
wouldn't force you as they would.
Absolutely. So remember, 一点点, just a little. Great. Now let's look at those sentences again. So we had the sounds, we said the dialogues, then we broke down the vocabulary. Now let's get back to the sentence level and we'll translate it sentence by sentence for you.
你会说普通话吗？
Do you speak Mandarin?
你会说普通话吗？
Do you speak Mandarin?
你会说普通话吗？
Can you speak Mandarin?
我会说一点。
I can speak a little.
我会说一点。
I can speak a little.
我会说一点。
I can speak a little.
你会说英语吗？
Do you speak English?
你会说英语吗？
Can you speak English?
你会说英语吗？
Can you speak English?
英语我不会说。
I don't speak English.
英语我不会说。
I don't speak English.
英语我不会说。
I can't speak English. Now, notice in that last sentence that she said, 英语我不会说, and literally translated is English I cannot speak. So she put the noun at the beginning and she said, 英语我不会说, English I cannot speak. And the literal translation is, I don't speak English. 英语我不会说. Okay, now let's look again for a moment at the word 话, meaning speech. It's very, very commonly used in China, and it's used to describe the different dialects or even accents sometimes. For example, you have,
上海话，
and that means the Shanghai dialect or the Shanghai speech.
上海话，
Shanghai dialect.
上海话，
Shanghai dialect.
北京话，
The Beijing dialect.
北京话，
The Beijing pronunciation.
北京话.
or Beijing speech.
And just a footnote to you, 北京话 actually sounds pretty much like Mandarin, so you don't. It's not that outstanding as
Yes,
Shanghainese.
that's right. That's right. Beijing Hua is more or less the standard for Mandarin in China. But Shanghainese, Shanghai Hua, is actually, I think it's regarded as a separate language, in
Yes.
fact. Yeah. But anyway, the Hua is used to describe a dialect or a regional language, and you have other places as well.
That's correct. Just put the name of the place before Hua, and you would end up with their original tone. For
Great.
example, Sichuan Hua.
All right, well, that's Sichuan speech, Sichuan dialect, right?
Sichuan Hua.
Sichuan dialect.
Sichuan Hua.
Sichuan speech.
Yeah, that's very good.
And you have Taiwan also, you can use it, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that comes to, you might be able to figure it out yourself. 台湾话. 台湾话. And again, 台湾话.
Great. Great. Well, that's our lesson more or less for today. Don't forget that you can go to www.chinesepod.com to get much more information, to get the text, to do more, and to drill down into that vocabulary and so on. Now, let's just go through that today's dialogue again one time to review. So, Jenny, please.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Great teachers in your pocket, excellent resources on the website. Learn Mandarin with Chinese Pod.
Hello there. Welcome to Chinese Pod. Chinese Pod is a place where you can learn spoken Mandarin Chinese. Now, today's lesson is the first in what we hope will be many, many lessons in spoken Chinese brought to you through daily podcasts and supplemented with the website, the exercises, transcripts, blogs, and other things on ChinesePod.com. So ChinesePod is a new way to learn language, and we hope that you'll stay with us and try it out. Now, on ChinesePod, we have 4 levels. What we call the newbie level is for absolute beginners. And today we're going to have the very first lesson in that level. So that's the newbie levels. Level 2 is what we call elementary. So that's slightly more advanced. If, for example, you have finished 20 to 30 lessons in the newbie level, you could move on to our elementary. Beyond that, we'll have an intermediate level. And not surprisingly, at a little bit down the road, we'll have an advanced level class. So for new users, you may be coming from iTunes. I do strongly recommend that you go to ChinesePod.com, get the instructions. They'll show you how to use ChinesePod, how to maximize it, and how to maximize your study potential. Of course, ChinesePod brings you the mobility, the flexibility, and the chance for you to learn Chinese on your own terms at times that suit you. Okay, well, with that, I think we could start our new lesson. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Ken Carroll. My Chinese name is Kai En, and I am joined by a wonderful teacher from Shanghai, China, and her name is...
Hey, I'm Jenny. Nice to meet you all.
Jenny, good. Jenny, you are in fact from Shanghai, China. Is that correct?
Yes, I
Good.
am.
Tell us your Chinese name, please, Jenny. What's your Chinese name?
My Chinese name is Zhu Qi.
Zhu Qi.
Yeah, probably sounds terribly short.
It sounds
to all of you.
short. Chinese
That's
names are
it,
often quite
yeah.
short.
My surname is Zhu
猪.
Yeah, and my given name is Qi.
Because in Chinese you reverse it. You say
Yes,
the
that's
family name first and the given name second. So there's 朱祁, and a wonderful name that is. Okay, now, so let's start our lesson 1. Right here, our first ever Chinese pod newbie for absolute beginners lesson. And the name of this lesson is...
你好吗?
Now, I can tell you that translated means, how are you?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this dialogue 3 times. And if you don't understand it, do not worry about a thing, because a few minutes later we'll drill down into it in some details and we'll help you to parse it and to break it down and understand it. So, could we start, please, Jenny?
你好吗?
我很好，谢谢。
你是中国人吗?
不是，我是美国人。
你好吗?
我很好，谢谢。
你是中国人吗?
不是，我是美国人。
你好吗?
我很好，谢谢。
你是中国人吗?
不是，我是美国人。Okay, now let's take this one apart and help you to understand it. Now, the first sentence was a question, and that was...
你好吗?
Now, let's look at the words 好,你好吗? 好
Third tone.
That's the third tone. Now, as you know, there are 4 tones in Chinese, and over the coming days and weeks and months, we'll help you
Keep practicing
to
them,
practice
yeah.
and to identify them. For now, we'll tell you that how is the third tone.
Yes.
Now, there are lessons on the podcast archive where you will find examples of the tones.
Yeah,
but for now,
we actually have a separate lesson on
we have
tones.
separate lessons
yeah,
on
so
tones.
you can check
we
that
will
out.
have. So for now, we'll just tell you how is the third tone. So let's hear that again, that sentence again, please, Jenny.
你好吗?
Now, the first word was 你, and that means you,
Yes.
as in the second person singular.
Yeah.
Now, so when you want to ask a question in Chinese, at the end you put
吗?
ma.
吗?
Okay. So, literally translated, 你好吗 means you good? Question mark.
Yes.
Right? Are you good?
You actually forgot to explain 好.
How meaning good.
Good,
Yes.
yes.
How meaning good. That's right. So, 你好吗?
You good?
Question. Are you good? In other words, how are you? So, one more time, please, Jenny.
你好吗? Okay.
Now you want to answer.
我很好.
Okay. Now, 我 as in me, I
Or
am
yeah.
很好.
The
Meaning-
same 好.
Same how
meaning
good.
good. 很, also third tone, means very.
Very. So one more time. I'm very good.
我很好.
Great. So let's practice that question and answer again. I'll ask you, Jenny. So, 你好吗?
我很好. Let me ask you.
Okay.
你好吗?
我很好.
And of course, you have to thank the person who asked you.
Indeed. And that is
谢谢. 谢谢.
谢谢. Now again, just to be clear, the tones there, that's the 4th tone,
Yeah.
right? 谢谢 is the 4th tone. Now, 我很好，谢谢. I'm very well, thanks.
Yes.
Now, there was another question here.
你是中国人吗? 你是中国人吗?
Now, you hear at the end of the sentence was the word ma,
Ma, yes.
and that indicates that it's a question. Right? Now, so let's break down the words. 你是 means 你, again meaning you.
Yeah.
是 is the verb to be. 中国人
meaning
Chinese. We can
person.
even break that down a little bit more. 中国 China.
China. Again, please.
中国
China.
人
Meaning
people or
person.
person.
People. Right. So 中国人 means
Chinese
person.
Yeah.
A Chinese person. So one more time, a Chinese person, please.
中国人
Great. Now, the question again, are you Chinese?
你是中国人吗？你是中国人吗？
So, great question. If you meet someone and they're speaking Chinese, you want to know if that is a Chinese person. You can ask them that
Can
question.
maybe you've been in China for too long.
Yeah.
As I was reading the dialogue with you, I thought, I might see you and take you as a Chinese person.
Yo. So you can ask
You
me.
look so Chinese.
Indeed. So you can ask me that question.
你是中国人吗？
Now, imagine I'm not actually, as it happens, I'm not American and I'm not Chinese. Imagine for the purpose of this dialogue, I want to say, no, I'm not. You said, are you Chinese? I say, no, I'm not. I'm American. How would I say that?
不是，我是美国人。
Good. Now, 不是 meaning not. Now, the word 不 means not.
Yeah.
And together here with the verb 是 meaning not to be
Yeah.
not, as in I am not. So how do we say it? Could we hear that again, please, Jenny?
不是，
不是. Okay. Now, because the question was, 你是中国人吗? 不是. And then I could say, I'm American.
我是美国人。我是美国人。The same construction as
Indeed.
Chinese.
Yes. A moment ago, we had 我是中国人, and here we have 我是美国人.
美国人.
Now, 人 meaning person,
Yeah.
国 meaning country, and 美 meaning America.
Yeah.
美
美
literally
国.
translated 美国, 美 literally translated means beautiful.
Yeah.
So literally translated 美国 means
Beautiful
beautiful
country.
Indeed.
Beautiful country people.
Indeed. And
American.
China, 中国, literally translated means the middle country.
Yeah.
So you have the middle country and the beautiful country.
Because thousands of years ago, the Chinese thought we were in the
center
center of the earth.
The world.
Yeah, the world.
You
That's
were. So let's compare those two. I'm Chinese.
我是中国人。
I'm American.
我是美国人。
Are you Chinese?
你是中国人吗？
Are you American?
你是美国人吗？
No, I'm not Chinese.
不是，我不是中国人。
No, I'm not American.
不是，我不是美国人。
Okay, good. Very good. Now we have just some supplementary vocabulary that we might just go through some of them for a moment or two, please, Jenny. Would you lead the way, please?
The first one is what we've already had.
Yep.
我
Meaning I or myself or me.
Yeah. 我 And the next, 你
Meaning you.
你 And then 他
Meaning he or she
or it.
or sometimes it.
他 And then the plurals. 我们
We.
我们
So that's 我 meaning I plus you add the
们
们, and it becomes 我们 means we, collective, plural.
Yeah, and you do the same to the other pronouns.
Yeah.
你们 You
You, plural.
Plural.
Yeah.
and 他们
They, plural.
Yes. And then let's look at the verb to be. 是是 And then 是的 是的
Now, 是的 is sometimes used to answer a question.
yeah.
Yeah. And we'll come across that again soon enough.
很好
Very good.
很好
Great expression. Very, very, very common. 很好
Yeah.
Very good.
谢谢谢谢
Thank you. 谢谢 and 谢谢 to you, Jenny.
啊，谢谢
Thank you for
你
that.
谢谢你
Okay, good. Well, that was our first lesson of very many here on Chinese Pod. We hope that you got a lot from it. We do strongly recommend that you go to ChinesePod.com and get the lowdown on how all of this works
Yeah,
and stick with us, and we'll have you speaking Chinese in no time.
okay.
But for now, it's time for us to say goodbye, and we'll be back again tomorrow with
Take care.
another lesson.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello there and welcome to Chinese Pod once again, and we're at lesson 2 today, and we're looking at some basic and very useful, very important vocabulary and sentences. Now, as I mentioned before, the key to success with Chinese is to get lots of listening in the early stages, to get the sounds, get used to the sounds, and get some very basic words. Now, build up the input sentence by sentence, phrase by phrase, and at some point, a little bit later on, we'll ask you to produce sentences, to actually say them. But for now, let's concentrate more on input and building up some knowledge of the basic key phrases of Chinese. Now, we're going to listen to our first dialogue today, and Jenny is here with me today. We'll go through the dialogue. Now, just before we start, let me remind you that we're going to read it 3 times, the first dialogue. And don't worry about comprehension right now. Don't worry if you don't understand it right now. Just listen to it and get the sounds, and then after that, we'll break it down for you, and we'll give you the meaning in detail. Okay, so let's start with the dialogue today. So, Jenny, please.
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗？
Okay, great. Now, let's take a look at the meanings of these sentences. So we'll go through them slowly for you, each of those sentences in the dialogue. So, Jenny, please.
他是美国人吗？
Is he American?
他是美国人吗？
Is he American?
他是美国人吗？
Is he American?
不是，
No.
不是，
No.
不是。
No.
他是英国人。
He is English.
他是英国人。
He is English.
他是英国人。
He's English.
他很忙吗？
Is he busy?
他很忙吗？
Is he busy?
他很忙吗？
Is he busy?
对，
Yes.
对，
Yes.
对，
Yes.
他很忙，
He's very busy.
他很忙，
He's very busy.
他很忙，
He's very busy. Okay, that's great. Now, let's break down those sentences and look at the words, the individual words. So, Jenny, please.
英国
England,
英国
England,
英国
England.
不好
Not good,
不好
not good,
不好
not good.
忙
Busy,
忙
busy,
忙
busy.
对
Yes,
对
yes,
对
yes.
累
Tired,
累
tired,
累
tired. Okay, great. Now there is some key vocabulary in that lesson. Let's take a look at them. Now, a moment ago we learned the word for England, which is
英国
okay. Now, 英国. So let's look at the parts of the word. The word 国 means country. Jenny, can you tell us some more examples of country names that use the word 国?
好的法国
法国. Now that's France, right?
That's right
Okay.
德国
德国. That's Germany.
中国
中国, China.
美国
美国, that's America. Great. And so the word 国 is very often used to describe countries. Not all countries, but very many countries. Okay, now let's look at some of the adjectives we had in that dialogue. Now, the first adjective is
忙
忙. Now, 忙means busy. So let's make a couple of simple sentences using 忙. Okay, now, I'm busy.
我忙
I'm busy.
我忙
I'm busy.
我忙
He's busy.
他忙
He's busy.
他忙
He's busy.
他忙
I'm very busy.
我很忙
I'm very busy.
我很忙
I'm very busy.
我很忙
He's very busy.
他很忙
He's very busy.
他很忙
He's very busy.
他很忙
Great. Now let's continue with these keywords and let's take another adjective. Now the next adjective we're going to look at is
累
lay. Now lay means tired. Okay, now let's go through these again. So, I'm tired.
我累
I'm tired.
我累
I'm tired.
我累
He's tired.
他累
He's tired.
他累
He's tired.
他累
I'm very tired.
我很累
I'm very tired.
我很累
I'm very tired.
我很累
Okay, great stuff. Now, let's practice with asking some questions using these key words. All right, now, question 1. Are you tired?
你累吗
Are you tired?
你累吗
Are you tired?
你累吗
Question 2. Are you busy?
你忙吗
Are you busy?
你忙吗
Are you busy?
你忙吗
Okay, good. Now, let's get back to that dialogue and let's go through it one or three more times, actually. So you can listen now. You've had the explanations for the words, and we'll go through it again 3 times.
他是美国人吗
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。Now, let's continue, and Jenny is going to ask me some questions. And again, these questions are based on the dialogue that we've had.
Ken, 你是英国人吗？
对 Yes, 我是英国人 I'm English.
你很忙吗？ Are you busy?
对，我很忙 I'm very busy.
你是英国人吗？
对，我是英国人。
你很忙吗？
对，我很忙。
你是英国人吗？
对，我是英国人。
你很忙吗？
对，我很忙。Great. Now let's continue with asking questions, and this time it's using the word 不. Now, 不 is used to say not or no, depending on the sentence. Now we're going to practice using 不 with some adjectives. Now, the first question is, are you tired?
你累不累？
Are you tired?
你累不累？
Are you tired?
你累不累？
Are you busy?
你忙不忙？
Are you busy?
你忙不忙？
Are you busy?
你忙不忙？
Are you okay?
你好不好？
Are you okay?
你好不好？
Are you okay?
你好不好？
So, when making these kind of sentences, you use the adjective and repeat it. In this sense, you say, are you tired? Not tired. For example, 你累不累? So here we have an example of it. You tired? Not tired. 你忙不忙? Are you busy or not busy? 你好不好? Are you okay or not okay? So that's more or less it for lesson 2. So let's review what we did today. Well, we covered 3 areas. First, we looked at some adjectives, such as busy and tired. We looked at countries, England, America, and so on. And we looked at asking basic questions. So now we'll go through today's dialogue again one time, and we'll give you the chance to repeat the dialogue at home.
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。Okay, so remember, when you want to see the text, you want to read the words, you want to get a lot more feedback, and you use the personal learning center, go to the Chinese Pod website, www.chinesepod.com.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China. Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hi, hello once again. Here we are on Chinese Pod, and today we're looking at lesson 3. Now, before we begin, I think we can take a look at our previous lesson, lesson 2. So let's quickly just listen to that dialogue.
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。
他是美国人吗？
不是，他是英国人。
他很忙吗？
对，他很忙。Welcome back to Chinese Pod. We're on lesson 3 today, and as usual, we'll start with a basic dialogue. Today's dialogue is between a Mr. Wang and a Miss Li, and they're asking each other about what they're doing and where they're going. Now, as usual, of course, we're going to give you the input first. As we said, input is crucial at this stage. You need to get more input, more listening, get your basic listening down, and later we'll concentrate more on production, on actually generating new sentences and so on. Okay, so let's listen to our dialogue. And as usual, as I say, don't worry about comprehension. Just listen to the sounds 3 times, and after that, we'll guide you through the meanings of each, and we'll break down the vocabulary for you. Okay, so let's take it away. Jenny, please.
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。Okay, great. Now let's start to look at the sentences here. So we'll go through them one by one and we'll translate for you. Okay, so please, Jenny.
王先生，
Mr. Wang,
你好吗？
how are you?
王先生，
Mr. Wang,
你好吗？
how are you?
王先生，
Mr. Wang,
你好吗？
how are you?
我很好，
I'm fine.
我很好，
I'm fine.
我很好。
I'm fine.
李小姐，
Miss Lee,
李小姐，
Miss Lee,
李小姐，
Miss Lee.
你呢？
And you?
你呢？
And you?
你呢？
And you?
我也很好，
I'm fine too.
我也很好，
I'm fine too.
我也很好。
I'm fine too.
你去哪里？
Where are you going?
你去哪里？
Where are you going?
你去哪里？
Where are you going?
我去学校，
I'm going to the school.
我去学校，
I'm going to the school.
我去学校。
I'm going to the school. Okay, good. Now let's break down the vocabulary. Now, the first words we want to look at are Mr. In Chinese, you call it Mr. Wang, but you put it the other way around. You say Wang Mr.
王先生，
Okay, so that's Wang 先生. So his name is Wang, and when you call him Mr., you use 先生, but it's the other way around. In English, of course, we say Mr. Wang. In Chinese, you say Wang Mr. or Wang 先生. Now, another word we had in the dialogue was 小姐, right? 小姐, and 小姐means miss, and that was Li 小姐. Li 小姐, and that is Miss Li. Now, another phrase we had was
你呢？
okay. Now, 你呢 means how about you? Okay, so 你 means you. 你呢 means how about you? Now, let's get an example of how we would use this.
你好吗？
我很好。你呢？
我也很好。 你好吗？
我很好，你呢？
你好吗？
我很好，你呢？Okay, now the next word we have is,
也
now, yeah means also. Now let's look at some examples of how we use yeah. 我很累. I'm very tired.
我也很累。I'm also very tired.
我很累.
我也很累。
我很忙. I'm very busy.
我也很忙。I'm also very busy.
我很忙.
我也很忙。
我是中国人.
我也是中国人。
我是英国人.
我也是英国人。
我是美国人.
我也是美国人。
Okay, now the next word is a verb, the verb to go, and that is,
去
again, 去, to go. Now, where are you going?
你去哪里？
Where are you going?
你去哪里？
Where are you going?
你去哪里？
So, 哪里 means where. So, again, could you repeat that for us again? Where?
哪里？
Where?
哪里？
Where?
哪里？
Now, the next word we had today was school, and that is
学校，
school.
学校，
School.
学校。
Go to school.
去学校，
Go to school.
去学校，
Go to school.
去学校。
I'm going to school.
我去学校，
I'm going to school.
我去学校，
I'm going to school.
我去学校。
Okay, great. Now let's review some of the things we've learned today. We looked at 3 areas addressing people, calling somebody Mr. or Miss. That was one thing we looked at. We also looked at question formations, and then we looked at yeah, which means also. Okay, so let's go through the dialogue again one more time. Today's dialogue. So Jenny, please.
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐，你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。Okay, so that's it. Once again, today here on Chinese Pod, don't forget you can get the text and all of the background information, the vocabulary, and much, much more in the Personal Learning Center. Just go to www.chinesepod.com.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China. Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello and welcome once again back to Chinese Pod, and we'll be providing you with lots more great input today on basic spoken Chinese. Let me remind you, of course, as ever, that the key in the early stages to success in learning spoken Chinese is to get great input. Now, we'll be providing that to you today, and we'll be giving you useful sentences that you'll hear every day in use in China. Now, we're going to listen as ever to a dialogue, a simple dialogue with practical vocabulary. Before we start today, though, I think it's a good idea to maybe review our last lesson and the dialogue from that one. So take a moment, please, to listen to the previous dialogue.
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。
王先生，你好吗？
我很好，李小姐。你呢？
我也很好。你去哪里？
我去学校。Okay, great. Now, let's have our dialogue for today. And let me remind you that we'll read the dialogue for you 3 times. We won't translate it right now. All you have to do is sit back and listen to the sounds and listen to the flow of the language. And then after that, we'll break it down for you and we'll make it comprehensible. Okay, so here is today's dialogue. Jenny, if you please.
你今天好吗？
很好，谢谢。你呢？
马马虎虎。我今天很累。
真的吗？为什么？
因为我很忙。你今天好吗？
很好，谢谢。你呢？
马马虎虎。我今天很累。
真的吗？为什么？
因为我很忙。你今天好吗？
很好，谢谢。你呢？
马马虎虎。我今天很累。
真的吗？为什么？
因为我很忙。
Great. Now, let's look at each sentence and we'll help you. We'll translate them for you and later we'll go through the specifics of the vocabulary. So let's look at the translations of the sentences.
你今天好吗？
Are you okay today?
你今天好吗？
Are you okay today?
你今天好吗？
Are you okay today?
很好。
Great.
很好。
Great.
很好。
Great.
谢谢。
Thanks.
谢谢。
Thanks.
谢谢。
Thanks.
你呢？
And you?
你呢？
And you?
你呢？
And you?
马马虎虎。
So-so.
马马虎虎。
So-so.
马马虎虎。
So-so.
我今天很累。
I'm really tired today.
我今天很累。
I'm really tired today.
我今天很累。
I'm really tired today.
真的吗？
Really?
真的吗？
Really?
真的吗？
Really?
为什么？
Why?
为什么？
Why?
为什么？
Why?
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy.
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy.
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy. Okay, now let's take a look at the meaning of that dialogue. Now let's look at it sentence by sentence. So, Jenny, please.
你今天好吗？
Are you good today?
你今天好吗？
Are you okay today?
你今天好吗？
Are you okay today?
很好，谢谢。你呢？
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
很好，谢谢。你呢？
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
很好，谢谢。你呢？
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
马马虎虎，我今天很累。
So, I'm very tired today.
马马虎虎，我今天很累。
I'm I'm very tired today.
马马虎虎，我今天很累。
I'm I'm very tired today.
真的吗？为什么？
Really? Why?
真的吗？为什么？
Really? Why?
真的吗？为什么？
Really? Why?
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy.
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy.
因为我很忙。
Because I'm very busy. Great. Now let's break it down a little bit more and let's go through the individual words in the lesson. Now, the first word is
今天，
today.
今天，
Today.
今天。
Today.
马马虎虎，
So.
马马虎虎，
So.
马马虎虎。
So.
真的吗？
Really?
真的吗？
Really?
真的吗？
Really?
为什么？
Why?
为什么？
Why?
为什么？
Why?
因为，
Because.
因为，
Because.
因为。
Because. Okay, great. Now let's practice with a very, very important word, a very useful word, and it's 为什么. And 为什么 is used basically to say why. Okay, now let's take a look at some examples.
你好不好 ？Are you okay?
不好. No.
为什么 ？Why?
因为我很累. Because I'm very tired.
你好不好？
我不好.
为什么？你好不好？
我不好.
为什么？你忙不忙？
不忙.
为什么？你忙不忙？
不忙.
为什么？你累不累？
不累.
为什么？你累不累？
不累.
为什么？
Okay, now we had a very interesting phrase here a moment ago, and the phrase is "mama hoo hoo." Jenny, what does this? We translate this as "so." When you ask somebody how are you, if they say "mama hoo hoo," it means "so." Tell us a little bit about this phrase. What does it actually really literally mean?
Well, literally it means horse and tiger. And I don't know why when you put them together it means so. I think that's just, I guess it's one of the tricky things or mysteries in Chinese.
It's kind of like an idiom then, right?
Yes,
we don't
that's
really know
true.
what. Yeah, so ma means horse, right? So mama means horse.
That's right.
Hoo means tiger.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just one of those interesting expressions, but it's commonly used. So it's a way to say, well, I'm not good and I'm not bad. Well, mama hoo, not so good, not so bad. Okay, good. Now let's review what we did today. We looked at questions. We talked about expressing how you feel and why. We looked at the question why and the expression really. Now let's go through the dialogue again one time.
你今天好吗？
很好，谢谢。你呢？
马马虎虎，我今天很累。
真的吗？为什么？
因为我很忙。
Okay, so that's it for another lesson from Chinese Pod. Don't forget, you can get all the text and lots more in your own personal learning center. Just go to www.chinesepod.com.